Hey everyone, it's been a little bit. I've been a little bit busy dealing with a few things. I have four main things that I'm wanting to get through here, which is the half multi-points, because I sort of just threw them out there. And then the dual clip has had a tiny little shift, but I haven't mentioned it, but don't worry, it doesn't change anything much. Tile orientation, because I've now mentioned that lovely beast, and a little sort of like where are we with a whole bunch of other stuff, plus I have to show you all of this, which is quite something. Alright, now, is everybody hearing me nicely? Just want to see how it's all going here. Just give me a thumbs up or something just to double check. Blink twice if I'm live. I am live. It's been a little bit here. Okay, I'm just going to put it. I think we're sorted. I think we are sorted. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to just carry on just doing my normal talk and spiel for a bit, and then we're going to get into some questions now. Just let me know as soon as things come around to let me know that all is good. And yeah, so first, let's talk about this whole like half multi-point update, because quite a few parts came out of nowhere, all to do with this lovely pack right here. Let me just grab it, with the little basket pack that came out. And well, I didn't really explain much about that. There's a reason why, because I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more shorts, and then we're going to be able to get into a lot more detail. Plus, this live stream is sort of one of these things of, hey, let's just go ahead and deal with all the questions that you have of this live right here, right now. So, to do that, I've got to bring all the parts. Now, there are technically some more parts than the ones I have here. For those OG multi-boarders out there, you'll know that this is a very, 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 very old bin. That's right, bin shells didn't have clips at one point when we didn't have dividers. And in here I have two pairs of everything. So let's go to both here for a moment. And here you have it all there. Yes, that is a lot of parts, but they're actually not really that bad, because many are the same part, just we're now dealing with thread orientation. And thread orientation is something I never actually wished to deal with, but as I've got deeper and deeper and deeper into this, it's actually turned into a thing that we actually have to have thread-oriented parts. Not always, and I'm going to call these advanced parts. All the parts that have sort of like a thread orientation are sort of more advanced. So yes, let's go through the half multi-points. So first I'm going to go back to far. So why is the first question, because so many people keep asking me like, what on earth, why have you done, you've added even more complexity to the whole system here, surely you're just having an absolute weird power trip right now, what is going on? Well, the main reason why I've gone ahead and done it is because this. I wanted a really clean and easy way to multi-point things within a snap, but without it being off the grid. So on grid would be flush, because that technically would be on the grid to some degree, because then that would be 1/4 of the 25 millimeters, because every 4 of these technically is like the space of 25. It gets into really complicated stuff, and I don't really want to get into too complicated stuff, but just know that if you stack tiles together, because they're 6.2, technically 6.25, you go on and on and on, because you get 6.2, then you go to the next one, which is 12.1, 12.5, then you go to the next one, adding numbers, and then you get to the next one, which is 25, and that's how you get from grid to grid. So I wanted to make sure that we created a hooking system that really could keep you on grid quite well, like grid to the mounting surface, because we do have the multi-point side of things, we do have the rail side of things and all of that, but technically that doesn't keep you on grid. You still have a grid that is around that object that is mounted on, but it's not specifically on grid unless it's completely flush to it. That's the key thing here. So I was like, well, let's try and figure this out. Now what's really interesting, I'll tell you a little backstory here. These half multi-points actually came from 2 iterations of new files, which is pretty crazy. And that was because the first one was this weird hook, and then after that, no, the first one wasn't a weird hook. The first one was trying to just make things just fit and smaller in some way, and I just couldn't get that to work with a multi-point. So then the next time was a hook, and I literally went all the way to like getting the files ready, going rendered and almost uploaded, and then Bluecube, the marketer of Multiboard, was just like, hey Jonathan, I think you're doing us stupid, and why are you not just slicing a multi-point and getting that to work? And I just went, you know what? That makes sense. So I took on his advice, scrapped everything, and then we had to get from the ground up. The only thing is that means that I had to redo everything, and that's that I had everything ready before going off to the conference, so there was a whole week delay there, and then there was another week delay, and then another week delay. So multi-point, half multi-points are here. So the half multi-points are literally just specifically designed to fit inside of the area of a snap, this teeny tiny area, yet still be just as strong. That's the key thing here. So that is the why. And now we go on to the how exactly. Well, the how is literally just cutting a multi-point in half. It gives you enough area, which if I go and split this to both, and we'll grab one of these, gives you enough area to basically go in here and just slide a multi-point into that area there. Why is this not wanting to go in? There we go. Into that area there. So that is the key thing that I really wanted, and I wanted it to feel really clean and simple, sort of, so it wouldn't add more complexity in a whole nother set of parts. So now with that, before we go into, no, let's carry on going into the multi-point stuff. So the multi-point, the half multi-point stuff, I cannot see my stream here, and it's really going to be quite annoying not being able to see this. So give me one moment, guys. Just need to make sure that I can see my screen. There we go. Okay. When it comes to the half multi-point stuff, it's very much, it looks like a lot, but all it really is mounting. So there is just a large thread with a half multi-point hole. Now the reason why it's a half multi-point hole is because a full multi-point wouldn't be able to slide in there. It is the folded and the card style half multi-points, which are there, right? And then there's multi-points that are both with, yeah, that's basically it. Then all it is putting a snap with the multi-point hole, and it's also putting out a few other versions, this, and there's another snap, which is the folded one here. So we've got to click out the support that is right there. So then we're able to unfold this because we got that one. And let me just also double check, there's this other extra little bit. There's a tool here, and then I think that is basically, technically speaking, all the new parts. So it looks like a lot right here. This looks, I get it, this looks like a lot, but all that's new is this. That's it. And now let me help explain why it's like this, because this thread, this whole thread thing, brings a whole new idea of orientation into the tile. So before we go much deeper into that whole orientation of everything, let's quickly take a look at a tile and explain tile orientation. So one of these, I hope it's this one. Nope, this is not it. Let me find it quickly here. So what I'm currently doing is I'm literally just looking at the front of these half multi-points and looking at the arrow on the front of it. The arrow should point upwards, so that's literally what I'm doing. Is I'm just going here. There we go. I found the upwards one, so here it is. So that there, oh come on, focus up. I know you can focus up. That there lets me know that this, when it gets tightened down, it's going to point upwards on the tile. So I've got a tile right here. I'm going to move this off to the side for a moment, and I'm going to thread this into the tile. Now, as I thread it in, I have no idea which way is up, and there will come a point that 22.5 degrees from where it is actually straight, it will get a little bit tight, and then at that point you get yourself the new clip tool that has that void in it, so then you can go to it, put it on top, tighten it up that last bit. You can probably just do that with your fingers, and that will now straighten it up upwards. Now this way you know that the tile orientation is up that way. Now, rather than having to do that every single time, let's do this. I'm going to go close so you're just seeing this guy, and I'm going to tilt this way, and I'm going to get my remote control here, and I'm just going to zoom you in. There we go, nice and zoomed in here. So let me get, hold on, I need to get a pointer of some sort. There we go, pointer. So you see, ooh, I can't see, you see that right there. There's just one slit on there. That single slit, because every other one will not have a single slit. It's a double one, or it's off in one way or another. So wherever you see that single slit, that is the up direction of this tile. So let me zoom back out. That there is the up direction because the single slit is there. Now that applies for all of the small threads as well as all of the large threads. Now really, I did not want thread orientation to be a thing, and here is where I'm going to now, and I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. Thread orientation was actually changed 4 or 5 months ago. So for instance, I have this exact same multi-point that points upwards here. All of the tiles on my wall, they were printed 5 months ago, and now when I go here and I start tightening this up onto this wall, you know what's going to happen. It tightens up. If you don't see that, let's get fancy here and use this thing here, and let's zoom all the way in. More, zoom in more. It's going to get dark, but as you'll see, it tightens up at a 45-degree angle. Oh, now this was intentional in the past because that meant that when it came to print orientation and the way that this was going to be orientated, it wouldn't have been such a big deal when it come to printing and all of that good stuff. And that's because reasons. It just many reasons. Just because I wanted to make sure that it didn't really matter which way you put it. It was just going to be that thread orientations weren't going to be a big deal. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you have to change all this up? No, it doesn't. It just means that you've got to think that your arrow is now just 45 degree just off to one side. So you're now going to go looking at all of these, and look, I've got it right here. So I'm going to get my both one. So now this here, this one here, right? I think this one here will be the one that tells me that it's the right way. Let's find out. I just talked a lot, and now let's prove. see if my mind is working out here. No, that's going to give me one further, and so I need it the other direction. Sorry about that. So this one is currently, and of course this is angled to the left because it's depending on the thread orientation. This little arrow will point towards what the up of your tile is, and on these tiles the up is in an angle. So this is not, it's not this up, it's that up that I need to find. So let's find that up. So dun dun dun. And yes, this can be a little bit annoying, but hey, this is more advanced. This isn't, we're getting into the advanced side of things, and things are still going to get a little bit more advanced in the future, but it's more because of the 3D-esque side of things. Just because, let me just go far while I'm just going like this. And dun dun dun. And one more time. Nope, I feel like it is just luck of the draw. It's going to be one of these things. It's going to literally be the last one I pick up. Always going to be the last one I pick up. No. Is it this one? Is this the last one? Of course, it is literally the last one I pick up. Because, yeah, why not? So now, we'll go to both once again. Now I've got the right one that's going to be pointing towards where the thread orientation actually is. So now, with that said, now I'm hoping that I'm right here because I haven't actually done this. So let's see what happens. This will be fun, right? Yeah, look, I was right. And now I just got to tighten that up with the tool, because remember that it is set at a 22-degree sort of tightening. So you give it a little bit of a tight, and now that is set upwards. Now again, we're going to do, I loved it, someone said, enhance! We're going to do exactly that once again to let you see what's going on here. Now I'm going to press many buttons at once, see if I can get that working for us. Dun dun dun. More this way, more that way, more that way. And there it is. So that is where the new tiles are, thread-wise. Hey, hello, focus up please. That's where the new tiles are, and that's, if you have the old tiles, that's how you've got to go about it. So once again, I will show you. Oh goodness, I need the tool to undo that. They really do go in well and proper, and they hold a crazy amount of weight. Yeah, that's the right way around. Go in there. And they hold still the full weight that I've been shocked that they do. And there we go. Undo that and that one. So, if you have fancy new tiles, you then just do. Let me go close here. Fancy new tiles, you just go upwards. If you have legacy tiles, you're using this one here. Alright? New tiles, old tiles. That's how it works. Right, so that's been that, and then while we're on this subject of thread orientation, now we're going to get back to all these parts, because we just went through that side tangent for a big reason, and the big reason is this. You're going to see a lot of these have an arrow on them. Guess where that arrow points? That arrow is going to point to where your top of your thread orientation is. So for instance with this one, if I go and I put the little tool that I have here to tighten things up with, so I'm just going to go here, I'm putting this tool into there, just makes my life a little bit easier, and I grab this and then I start to thread it on. Dun, 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 dun. I give it a little bit of a tighten, and now I know that this, the thread orientation, is that way pointing upwards. Now getting that exact same piece here, I really should have just had an old tile. Do I have an old tile? Give me a moment. Let me go into my recycling bin. Ugh. Is this an old tile? Is this one an old tile? Right, let me just look at it. It is. Okay, so now this one I think this is more than an old tile. This is a badly printed tile. That's what this is. You must be an old one. I'm sure of it. Yeah, there we go. And now you can see this one, because it's an older tile, points off to one direction like that. That's because we are no longer diagonally symmetric. We are now horizontally symmetric. Is that the, yeah, we're now horizontally symmetric. So yeah, and it was important to do this because we needed a directionality, and also I didn't want to. Okay, I need to also just show you why. Another reason why we had to change the thread here. Because if I grab, yeah, let's just grab this and let's just, no, I need to grab a multi-point to show you this. This point, I need a multi-point to make the point. So now I'm going to grab this guy, and this is the old tile, remember that. I need a coin. Where's my coin gone? It should be here somewhere. Oh no, I had an incident the other day where I did stupid things, and I have my coin over there now. So let me just tighten that up. So, there we go, that's now tightened up. So this gives you a perfect idea of what's going on here. I might actually, am I gonna do this way? Yeah, I wanna do it this way because it will be the easiest. So you see how that's diagonally right now, right? That's because this is the old tile and it was set to diagonal, right? Because, man, it's hard to explain this one, but what do you think is gonna happen when I flip this tile around and then like that? Because the way that this is symmetric is this way. That is the only way to keep your multi-point in that strong orientation that way. If you tried to flip things this way, that was changing the directionality of the weight-bearing capacity of this. So that's what I wanted to do, was sort of not have to teach you guys that, hey, this is the way that these are symmetric. So instead we change the thread orientation so that it's like this. I'm getting into a lot of detail here, and it's probably going over many people's heads, but I just wanted to sort of explain that there is a lot of incredibly deep thinking behind all of this. And I had many sleepless nights thinking about this god freaking thread stuff, tile orientations, and all of that good fun stuff. Alright, so now, with all of that said about thread orientations, you can now really make sense of all of these parts. They have that arrow. The arrow is the up of the thread, and that means that that is up. That means when it comes to any of these other ones that have an arrow on them, they're going to point the same way that that arrow is going to be pointing. Specifically for myself, I find that the threaded small thread and the threaded multi-point holes, those are my favorite ones to use, because then you don't have to worry about snap. Because this whole snap orientation thing up and down, the whole hoo-ha palabi thing that I did showing it in this pack video, where I had to be like, hey, you've got to put this snap that way around and that snap this way around, so then when you're pulling on that, it doesn't take out the other snap. Like, that still does stand, but you don't need any of that if you just use threads. And that is one of the superpowers of Multiboard, is that we have threads everywhere. So yeah, just letting you know that there are threads and to do all that. Now, another question some of you might be asking is, why haven't I also made these in large thread and mid threads? It's because you can turn one of these into a mid thread using the converter, and you can also turn this into a large thread using the converter. And yes, it's not going to hold, it's not that it's not going to hold as much weight, it's still going to hold a considerable amount of weight. But if you're putting that much weight into such a small point, we should probably add more than one. But depending on what you guys tell me, I might go ahead and just make those mid-thread ones and large thread ones. Just, it is more parts that are going to be thread orientation dependent. And I wanted to sort of just keep it as simple as possible with just having to deal with this arrow goes up, that's it, not, oh, there's this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, I've talked a lot about multi-points here, and I've talked about tile orientation. I have two more things, and then we're gonna go just do questions. So, next one, by the way, line up all your questions of what exactly you're going to be asking me in a moment. I will be asking all of that as well. Just to, actually, just before I move on, just know that we do have the bolt, the MP bolt lock half multi-point is what I'm calling it, I think. I'm sorry if it's not, but this is the multi-point one. So it doesn't use a locking bolt, it uses a multi-point small thread to lock it. And this is sort of the simplest way of getting any snap. You use this, you decide which orientation you need this to be in, you push it into place like so, and then you get yourself your multi-point, and then you just thread that in from the back. I'm just going to use another print here that I have, and you just thread that in, and now you have that in whichever orientation it is that you're wanting it to be, because you can just go into here, undo that, flip it round, and you'll basically be sorted. So that's actually one that it didn't get mentioned before, and I wanted to say that. Also, just note that all these folded half multi-points are in the same listing as the new card style ones, the card joining ones. I still haven't decided if I'm going to keep them all in there. I've seen that many people get a little bit confused that there's so many listings inside of one, so many parts inside of one listing. So I might change that up, again, depending to community feedback and depending how many people are getting lost. So far it's been, yeah, it's just been a lot. Okay, so that's that. Tile orientation, right. The next one is dual clips. Okay, so do I have a visual representation of this for you guys? I should do. Where is a completely another thing? Yes, I am in the same boat as all of you. I have parts coming out the wazoo. Now I think there was a light dual clip. Yeah, there we go. That's an old light dual clip. I was like, wait, what? Old light dual clip? What's he saying? No, don't change the clips. It's like, don't worry, they've actually all already been changed and you haven't noticed. So, and here is a new one. Okay, let's talk about these dual clips. Did I literally just take it out and then put it back in? I did. Good effort. Good effort. Okay, where did you just go? I took it out. There. It's here. Here. You guys can see that one. So make sure I don't put that back in. Okay, so the dual clips have had a little tweak. Now the reason why they've had a little tweak is because they were too long and they were getting in the way of some incredible 3D building stuff. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go into close and I'm going to tilt you down and we're going to zoom in right in here. Zoom in, enhance. So this here is the new one, the new length, and this is the old length. Now you can see, actually let me put them on here because it's going to be so much easier to do it on a flat surface. And if I get this to line them up, there's the length change. Now here's an interesting thing about this length change that's going on here. It doesn't actually matter. The only place this matters is if you're going to be using old clips in new parts. New clips in old parts works perfectly. End of. Not a problem. But yeah, we really needed this to become smaller, because this whole thing about it being smaller just really needed. And I think someone just said, oh snap, I just printed like 300 clips. As long as you got it within the last sort of, let's say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then they're all going to be the new clip anyway. I had to make them, what was it, 0.6324. I think that was the random magic number or something like that. I think I just decided to round it up to 0.6, round it down to 0.6, and that change has now been done. It's applied to everything that matters, and the reason why this had to happen was because of the filament locking that's going to be coming into the future, and also to deal with the amount of space that these use when we're doing really, really, really small beams. In other words, the beams that you're seeing that are doing that magic thing there, that is actually only possible with having the availability of making a smaller clip. Don't worry, that is going to be coming out in a little bit. I need to finish it up, polish it off, make it simpler, and make a couple of extra little tweaks to it. Yes, I know people are going to be going nuts over that, but please just wait. I promise you there's a reason why it's not out. I want to polish it and make it perfect for you all. So yeah, and also this is going to bring a whole new type of freestanding mount system that's going to work with the dual clips, and it's going to be nice and thin. It's not going to be this big chunky side things. So right, that is that. And now lastly, the last thing I have on here before we just go full on question craziness for a whole hour that's still left, which is brilliant, is to deal with cable management. Because I've mentioned that in a very, 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 very long time ago. Actually, there's two more things I want to show you guys, but we'll get those. And the cable management, basically, in a nutshell, it is 80% there, but while I was doing it, and we almost had it ready to go, I was just like, I really want to get this out. So I decided, screw it, I'm going to get this out. That brought in a whole flurry of stuff that came on in, and then with that flurry of things that came in, I was just like, darn, I did not really think through how I wanted the cable management to work with the plates. And then on top of not only how they worked with the plates, then I went, darn, I've now moved the whole system to be flush, and the whole cable management system was sort of built to be raised, well, not raised, just, you know, used the old 0.26 millimeter of the raised snaps, and I don't think everybody wants it to work with those raised snaps, because I'm now pushing the system to be so flush. So I've got to retweak that and readapt that and do all of that good stuff. And I'll be frank, the cable management system that I'm going to be putting out is completely different to everything else that's out there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing everything else that's already out there, because if not, it's sort of the multi-partners don't have a place to be able to find something to actually be able to sell. So that's something that I need to make sure so that it's within the license. I've also decided that there's quite a few things that are wrong with some of the systems that are already out there, and they're forgetting some very key, crucial problems that come with 3D printing, but it's going to be all sorted out. Apart from that, I love seeing all the cable management systems that are already out there. They look so cool. I just can't wait to sort it out myself, and I've got people testing it, and it's going to go out great. It's just, as it stands, we already have, what is it? Oh goodness, what is it? Something like 25 or 37 new designs, and that doesn't include variations. So with variations of those designs, it's way too many parts already. So I just want to make sure that I simplify that. Plus, what I also want to do when it comes out is be ready as soon as possible to get not just that out, but an entire planner out for it. But we'll see. There's a lot going out. There's already a great one out there that people are using, so go ahead and use it and have fun with it. Just when the multi-board one comes out, I hope you'll still be happy with what you've got. So then I'm going to go on to showing you two other things. I don't know how I'm going to show you these things because I was going to use my screen. So I can show you one of the things right here. So first, all of this here, this whole list, and this list, these are what I and the team are currently dealing with inside of fixing the freaking beta parts library. I made the beta parts library, I then decided to tweak everything, so thus I then broke the beta parts library. And here's the fun thing, we don't have a CMS. Now, if you have no idea what a CMS is, it's a content management system, so it means that the current beta library was fully built through just spreadsheets and random numbers, pretty much. And it was a real pain. Now we're having the development done to actually make a CMS. We technically have it now, and quite a few of that list has already been sorted out, but we're working tirelessly to get that sorted, try and update images, bring in the beams into there, bring in the new points, bring in the new snaps, bring in the new mounts, try and fix the new related parts, add even more related parts, fixing all of that stuff. It's just a lot to do that while making new parts, while making new things, and the wiki. The wiki. So, long story short, we had the wiki made, but it was broken. We had the wiki retweaked, and it was still broken. I had the wiki retweaked to work even more, and it looked like it was working, but then we tried to go a little bit further and it broke again. But hopefully within the next 1 or 2-ish weeks, we will have the full working workflow of the wiki for the admin side of the team. We have actually the entire wiki planned out and sectioned out in our own documentation. We haven't have it written out, but we've done all the sectioning of it. And now currently Blue Cube and Andy 13 and myself, I'm more coordinating rather than writing it because I'm doing 101 other things right this minute. So we're all basically just pitching in, getting this all written up and sorted out, and it's finally getting there. And that is why there hasn't been all of the really crucial things that need to be out there right this minute aren't out there just yet, because we're working tirelessly to do all the other things that you guys have been asking for months. So that's what's happening. And the wiki itself is powered by Docusaurus, Decamp CMS, and it's going to be open for everyone. The way that it's going to work is going to be this really interesting way that you're going to be able to go in, going to be able to do an edit, then you send the draft edit to then be reviewed, and then us, the team, then review that and can push it forward. And yeah, it's going to be quite something. We're making it super duper simple, so literally anyone could tackle it. You do not need to know GitHub. It's our own custom made sort of wikiization version control-y thing, so that you literally are just going to be having a multi-board account, and with that multi-board account you'll be able to do everything that you're wanting to do with it. A lot of crazy things are coming just over the hill. It's just what I currently feel like is that I'm making all of these like cake batters everywhere, like boom boom boom, and I don't have an oven to have them finally baked and brought in front of you. But I know that they're all great. It just takes a while to mix them up sometimes. And that oven is basically the finalized website, which takes a very long time. But hopefully at least I'm going to be getting like a microwave, and I'll be able to make you microwave cupcakes. I like to speak in metaphors sometimes. It just makes my life easier. Okay, so that's that one. And then the other thing, I'm going to see if I can do this to show you what's going on in my screen in a moment. It's going to be a little bit of a mess, everyone, so I'm sorry about it. So let's see. Let me put that over here. I need to see if you are all going to see this or not. If I go to this, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Okay, so let me try and sort this out. Let me find, that is that one. Why are you not connecting to the right screen? Connect to the right screen. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do this instead. Boom. Oh, there we go. That will work for me. Look what we have. We have the beginning of something. This is just a little sneak peek of the things that are going on. This is definitely not finalized by any means. I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of what's coming. This is going to be a little tiny section within the wiki, and it's going to get so much better than this. We're going to do better styling, better outlining. All of this is going to have numbers, and it's going to take you to other places. But yeah, there you have it. You can see that we're really going to put in some huge effort into what's coming next. It takes a while to make good things, and it is what it is sometimes. It just takes time, and I'm sorry. Okay, so with that all now covered, let's get to questions. Now, everybody, the way I want to do questions is you've got to put in capital letters, question, and then semicolon or whatever it is, and then put your question in there. I am going to go and quickly go over to the Circle community because that's where I asked people to put questions in the first place. So let's see if there's any there that people are really, really, really wanting for me to get answered. And of course I can't see anything because I don't have the right screen. So I'm going to have to buy another screen because my other screen here is just broken, and that is hilarious. So today's update, multiboard crew, specifications. Oh, I love it. I love it. I freaking love it. Honestly, that cable management has taken up way too much time already. Dangerous. But let me go over and go to live stream questions. Again, no need to post them there. I am going to go and check out all the questions in the chat. I'm just trying to see all the ones that are here in the community just because I know I did say I was going to go there and check it out, and I want to be a man of my word, as I always am. Okay, so questions that we've got going on here. I'm not going to look at the chat for a moment. I'm just going to be answering these questions, and let's see. Scrolly scroll up, scrolly scroll. Great. Okay, so not too many questions. Is there any plans to have T-beams and other divided options for brackets? Brackets? I don't know what you mean by other dividing options for brackets, but are there plans for all the other beams? Yes. In fact, do I have them here, or have I already thrown them away? I think I've already thrown them away. Yeah, I have. And they're somewhere deep in my recycling box. So yes, we're gonna have T-beams, X-beams, three-way beams. Three-way beams, T-beams, we're gonna have the X-beams, we're having hinges, and technically they are all made. They're just not public yet. And the main reason why they're not public is because of the CMS. We don't want to give you an absolute, lack of a better word, shit show again of parts everywhere. So we're trying to sort out the beta library as quick as we can to then bring out the beams with that, along with a whole bunch of other fancy, nice stuff inside of there. Okay, the next question is, what's the time frame, even a wild guess, on seeing the native cable management system? Wild guess. I mean, my heart wants to say give me a month or two. But the reality of it, knowing the insanity that is coming in a month or two, yes, there's even more coming in a month or two, and it truly is. It's insane. I'm gathering that it's going to be more like, oh god, I hate to say this. I hate to say what I'm about to say, but it's probably going to be more like 4 to 6, unless I'm able to find the right help. So actually, why not? Let's put it out there. By all means, feel free to send me an email to hello@keepmaking.com if you feel like you have the skill set to take on Fusion 360 multi-board 3D printed orientated parts. And literally tell me how much it'll cost. I'm looking for a full-time designer to do that. I need more designers. It's as simple as that. I have already someone that I'm looking into and a couple of other things, but hey, why not ask the community? You guys already know the system to some degree, so let's get you guys on board. No promises or anything like that, but yeah, there's just a lot coming, and then hopefully that way I'll be able to get the cable management out. But yeah, there's a lot going on there. It's pretty crazy. Of course, if you know Blender, even better. So yeah, cable management system, my heart wants to say 4 months, and it's going to come with so much more than just cable management. It's insane. It actually also works with other standard things that are in the electrical space, which is incredible. You actually don't even need you don't need any of this to actually use the cable management system, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna move on. The next one is, what is the on-grid thickness for the pixel cap? I assume it's the same as the raised snap. The pixel cap is random. Honestly, the thickness of that is completely random. I could probably actually go back to it and give it an on-grid cleanup, and probably the on-grid thickness of the pixel cap would be go 6.25, divide that once, and maybe divide it again, and then that way you have something that is super on grid there. But it's probably just 6.25 divided by 2, and that would be your on grid, the most on grid thickness you can go for. That's what I would go for. But I haven't edited that. It should be 3.125 is probably what I usually go to, or 3.2. The tricky thing when it comes with 3D printing and this division of things is slicers randomly go up and down, unless I tell people, hey, click one more setting in your slicer, which is Z height, keep Z height, perfect Z height, or something like that. But the problem with that is that perfect Z height doesn't apply on all printers, and yeah, there's so many things that I keep in mind. And then on top of that, if you're using a textured build plate, that's the reason why the tiles are actually 6.2, because it should actually be 6.25. A textured build plate actually adds that 0.05, even more sometimes. It's pretty crazy stuff. Then I've got questions. Can you share your print settings and filament settings with us? That will help beginners like me who struggle less. Cut down on programming and said, okay, yeah, sure thing. All of this is in the printing guidelines, by the way. It is pretty simple. It's 3 wall perimeters, random seams, and default bamboo PLA, generic PLA print settings. Nothing special. That's literally all I do. Now, what I gather is many people are wondering, what on earth? How does his folding things not break? And that is honestly all to do with the filament. Filament is so important, as well as keep a really clean build plate. You have to, I'm going to say the decisive thing here, and I'm sorry if it's going to upset some of you, but anybody who is using glue stick, and actually that's not true, glue stick does apply with really crap build plates, but with the newer, better, higher quality PEI sheets, using glue stick, using isopropyl alcohol, using anything that isn't just dish soap and water, you're just making it worse for yourself. Your hands, you might not think it, but they are incredibly oily. And I forgot who it was, but there was a YouTuber that did a great video showing cleaning an entire build plate with water and soap. Then you make sure you don't touch it at all. Get perfectly clean paper towel, clean it all up, and then did it was a 1 layer thick across the entire build plate, and it works perfectly and slipped right off. And then literally got its thumbs and did a smiley face on the build plate, then went in with isopropyl alcohol and cleaned it all up, and then printed it, and you could see literally where his thumbprint was, it didn't stick. If your hand at any point touches a build plate, or if it's close to a kitchen, or it's close to anywhere where oils might be in the air, you're going to have really bad adhesion, and I think that's something that many people struggle with. I struggle with it whenever I get lazy and I can't be bothered to clean my build plates for ages. That's that. But then the other thing is filament. Now filament, I'm using this orange is Zyro, but I do not recommend it. I do not recommend this orange because it is so saturated in the orange pigment that it actually leaches out, and it will stain your walls, it will stain other prints, it will stain everything else. I just have so many rolls of it that I'm just using it up. And then my new filament that I will be using in the future. I'm not going to actually show the brand because I haven't decided if I am going to use this or not, but at least I know the color of it. Let me get it out here. Is going to be this orange here. Now this orange here is a little bit of a different orange, and it will be nicer. And when it comes to quality PLAs, there is a big difference between them all. I personally use PLA all the time. Actually, I personally use matte PLA all the time, and yes, matte PLA can be worse when it comes to strength. But at the same time, if you play and test around out there with matte PLAs, some of the additives that they actually add into some of the matte PLAs actually make it better. Not other ones, the PLAs that use sort of like chalk and random things like that into them, it is not really great. But yeah, it's one of those things that honestly, if you're having a lot of problem with folding stuff especially, it's probably the filament. You've got to play around and experiment. While I've been doing multiboard, I have now probably tested over 50 different brands. It's pretty insane, but yeah, I personally love PLA. I use this one here. What is this one? I am now using Polymaker, the muted blue. Is it Polymaker? It's poly something. This is the muted blue for the poly. And then the orange is still the Zyro. The black is the Zyro. This is Zyro matte black. And that is one that I absolutely love, and I don't think I will ever change that one. I really, really enjoy that one. And yeah, that's that. That's pretty much it. Okay, questions. When can we expect an update for the rail pop-ins to the flush setup? Rail pop-ins to the flush setup. If that hasn't been done already, I'll get to it as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure I've already done rail pop-ins to the flush setup. Yeah, it's all already there if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What's the time frame for the upcoming remix files to on-grid, including the new bolt lock? So the new bolt lock mechanism and all of that good stuff, I will try and get that. Oh man, it's just so hard because I don't want to give you things that aren't, it's not really finalized, that aren't tweaked in the right way for you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna get that to you as soon as possible. As you can see, there's a lot on our list of things to do. As soon as we get on top of that, at the end of that list, I've got a whole other list of all the stuff that you're all wanting, and I really want that. Can a multi-bin partner sell their remix files or just print off their remix files? Question: can a multi-board partner sell their remix files or just print off their remix files? You can sell your remix files. I'm pretty sure everybody can sell their remix files. If I'm not mistaken, at the end of the day, remixes are an incredibly hard thing to do, and this reason I've said this many times before, that it's taken me so long to find even a lawyer that would take it on. But when it comes to the remix files, as long as it's a substantial change, yeah, okay, so remix files, you need to be a multi-partner to be able to sell a remix file, because then that is technically very closely linked. If it's your own IP and it's just been a remix and it's your own IP, you don't need anything, you can just do what you want. However, a multi-partner cannot just sell other people's remix files. It is very clearly stated in the license, in the synopsis of the license, even though that is not legal code. Please do not follow it as legal code. Read the full legal code. I need to say that. My lawyer told me so. But it's very clear that you need to have the remixer's permission to sell a remix that isn't your remix. So yeah, that's basically it. But anybody can print anything off. There's no limitations on printing. And yeah, it's actually quite funny. Yeah, go on then, Jonathan, say it. I had another very prominent company tell me that they wanted to use it within their space, and they just wanted to double check, do they need a partner space to use it, need a partner license to use it within a commercial space? I'm like, no, as long as you're not selling the thing, selling the physical print, do whatever you want. That person was the R&D department of Microsoft. So now I have the Meta virtual department using Multiboard. I've got Cloudflare using it in some service somewhere, somebody told me. I think. I might have that one in a second. I have the Canadian Authority of Standardization. Can't find the original email though, unfortunately, so I sort of want to take that one off. But someone asked me from there, hey, can we take stock images using your multi-board system in the background? They have that in the labs. And then we have Microsoft R&D department using it. And that is just crazy. And now I've also seen firefighters, ambulance workers, there's distilleries now using it. There's schools that are beginning to use it. And then all you lovely community, they're all using it. It's amazing. I love seeing it. So, okay, multi-partner address print off. Okay, question, do you still plan on making standoffs for multi-bin plates so you can mount them? Yes, we are making the standoffs. We're going to be calling them pillars. Pillars literally are just kind of tiny little things that go behind the small thread hole, so you can just screw that right in there. Again, we're trying to sort out the beta library so that we don't have to constantly be updating two libraries all the time, just going all into one. And then the last question that is in here, last question in here, and then we'll go to the chat, is I want to fix some of my brackets to the wall. Can you add a flush head to the thread generator, please? I want to fix some of my brackets to the wall. Can you add a flush head to the thread generator? I'm not 100% sure what that question is. So I'm sorry. If I could get it, I would answer it. Okay, now I'm going just the live chat, everyone. All right, everyone. I'm going to scroll up and I will go and take a look at where questions are. Baskets, not brackets. Oh, okay. Sorry, my dyslexia comes in pretty hard sometimes. So let me just baskets. I also keep in mind the screen is literally 7 feet away from me. Can I? I want to fix some of my baskets to the wall. Can you add a flush head to the thread to the wall? Oh, I see what you're saying. You're just when you're saying to a wall, flush. Are you talking just directly to a wall, or are you talking to like us like this type of wall, or are we talking a multi-board wall? If you want it directly to this wall, I should technically, what I should do is I should add the half multi-points to the multi-point, the half multi-points to the screw-in version of it, because then that way you're able to just do it like that. That's the whole point of multi-point. It lets you mount anything everywhere. But if you're wanting it directly to that, yes, the thread generator should probably have a flush head. It technically, no, it doesn't technically have a flush head, it just has a thread. So I do have to add the flush heads to it. But there's so much that I still need to do there. So I don't think it's going to happen super fast, but I will try as soon as I can to get that. And I'm currently going through through a whole bunch of updating the generators to all be web-based as well, so that nobody has to deal with anything weird like Blender anymore. Okay, I am scrolling up and up. Let's see, I am looking for the questions. So while I'm looking through here, okay, this was before. Genuine question. I'm trying to have a laptop mount, but the heat my laptop puts off to warp the boards. I don't want to print in like ASA. Any thoughts? Yeah, take a look at Polymaker's new high temperature PLA. That's what I would say. It seems to be pretty amazing stuff, and that is probably the thing. Is it Polymaker? I need to find out. I cannot just carry on saying Polymaker all the time. Is it Polymaker? Poly something. Anyway, there's a new high temperature PLA. Take a look at that. Let's see, I'm looking for a question. Let's see, will it come up? Come up. Question. What exactly are these screw-in half points for? What problem do they solve, and wasn't solved with last week's multi-basket mounting video? I think the rest of the beginning part of this live stream completely answers that one. Question. Can we have an infographic interactive to quickly and cleanly see what snap, bolt, multipoints fit a bin, or about literally have to open multiple windows to compare what fits what? Don't worry, wait a little bit for the wiki. That poster isn't going to be like that. That is just like the top level poster. It's going to have numbers, and then on the right hand side you literally just click where you want it to go, and that's going to take you to where it is on the wiki. We could do a much more interactive learning experience, but that's going to come more with the multiboard simulator, which is honestly probably over a year away, because it is insane the amount of development that needs. But I might start making like a beta version of the simulator, so that we just start being able to play with it, and just not add all the parts in there, but start to be able to play. But yeah. Okay. Now, question. I want to fix some of my baskets to the wall. Can you add a flush head to the thread? Okay, you already asked that one. Question. Can you show us how you mount that camera tripod behind you? I've been looking for... Oh, that. I use pegboard accessories. everybody. I know we're really pushing for 3D prints, but the whole point of Multiboard is to be able to use pegboard accessories. So here's a pegboard accessory. I literally just whack that in place and I have that hanging on there. It's as simple as that. I have hold on, let me just swivel this the right way, this way, that way, and then up, and then we go zoom in. And then we go this way. You see right there, I have a whole collection of these just ready to go. Pegboard accessories are amazing. You get an entire pack of those for like $10, if that. And I know that this can hold it, so why not use it? So that's the way that I do it. I literally just use pegboard accessories. And if it's not pegboard accessories, then it's the weight-bearing bolt lock hook is what I do. I use the hooked version though of the snap to make that work. If not, it's just not quite right then that way. Okay, so then I go for the future of cable management, can I go ahead and mount tiles or something under my desk and have it compatible when it's released? Yes, you'll be able to mount anything. You can mount either this or you can mount this. They are both completely and utterly compatible with the future cable management. For sure, easy. There is technically something else you could mount, but I'm not going to tell you that one. Okay, question. Did I miss anything about what? Question. Did I miss anything about the I-beams that were talked about for new shelving? No. I might as well show you. I told you they're made. I have an entire piece of wood here. This is one of the version of the I-beams here. Please don't go and make the remix already. Just wait, guys. Please, please, please. And that's technically going to work there, and then you'll be able to click in the shelves that way around. I am currently trying to figure out what's the best way, because I also want to find a way of, imagine this was a bit of wood. I want to find a way, what's the best way to screw a bit of wood to that, so then you can have that all be possible. The question that keeps popping into my mind though right now is, how on earth can I screw this to a bit of wood, and then how on earth do I take this on and off? And I think the only answer to that is that I have to first mount and bolt lock this in, and then I screw that onto there. And that means that unfortunately you'll only be able to screw in here, or I'm thinking of creating some little weird things that you can put in here into the side and like screw in a diagonal. But hey, I've gotta test it out. And you know what? Just because I want to get a company a little bit off my ass for a moment. A company did send me some cool things to show you guys. This is not sponsored or anything. They wanted to show me something cool, and you know what? I think it's cool, but you might think it's not that cool. I was going to create an entire accessory for them. So just a quick little side note. Take a look at this little thing. The main reason why I like it, I don't know what it's called or anything, but it's this like pen-shaped thing that you can add like a file onto, where you tighten it on and it's got a file. I can take that off. I can change the end of it to be, ow, that was sharp, a scoring tool instead. Or there's another one here that is, I can put in a lead, and now that's a pencil. But yeah, I was going to create a whole thing and whatnot, and yeah, I will at some point, because I do believe that it fits within the whole multi-boardy, multi-style thing. I'm not getting paid for this or anything, but I just thought I would show it to you guys, because I thought, hey, it's cool enough. It has a swivelly base to it. I think there's some other things to it, but that's enough of a side tangent. Now I can send them this and be like, hey, I talked about you guys. Get off my back. So, there you go. I will be creating an entire mounting thing for that. Sorry about that. All right, then the next one, questions. You mentioned something about the new drawer system when asked about Play Corridor. Is that still planned? 100%. The Play Corridor sort of lean out drawer, there is 100% a lean out drawer coming. There's actually there's a lot coming. There's a lot of really cool things that Multiboard and Multibin can do that people still haven't quite discovered, which is something that I love. There are so many things that I'm sort of just leaving there to see who's going to find it first. And then if nobody finds it first, then basically what I'll do is I'll make just a couple of few extra parts and to showcase just that one aspect of it a little bit better. But yeah, long story short, yes, there is going to be lean out shelves and all of that good stuff out there. It's coming. It just takes time. And honestly, I appreciate it to keep print setting agnostic. Question: does it matter which side of the tile I use as the front? No. It is completely symmetrical this way. It matters. Man, how am I gonna show this? I need to find. Yeah. So we know that this way is up because of that point here. This is upwards, so it's symmetrical this way. You don't have to worry about that. It's not symmetrical flipping it this way. So that's the key thing here. So it doesn't matter which side of the tile you use. Speaking of that, I have heard the community have told me that the strip tiles, there needs to be another strip tile to go this way. I am currently got the dev working on updating the tile generator to do that. But yeah, you can use either side of the tile, whatever works best for you. It doesn't matter. And then we're gonna go to question: will there be a suggested retail pricing guides? I'm newer, so I haven't seen any yet. For the items and the boards, suggest board segments. Man, we're gonna get into pricing, are we? What time is it? Okay, we've got loads of time still, right? Loads of time. Just need to double check because this is a thing. Pricing. So, everybody can do their pricing however they want. You go and do that. Now, I am a marketer and I run marketing agencies and all of that good stuff, and it's a good fun thing to do. Now, the one thing that I can tell you right now is never make your USP, your unique selling point, your price. Your price should always be what is truly viable for you. And this is my own experience when it comes to pricing. Everybody do pricing however you want. There is going to be no recommended retail price, because not as of yet, for anyway, not until way, like literally probably like 4 years from now, because something interesting is coming. But that's all I'm going to say. But when it comes to pricing things that people forget about, your overhead of your life, your time, and then making sure that you have 2 different price structures, one for bulk sale and one for customer sale. So you've got to find out all the cost of everything, including the machine degradation, as well as at least a 10% head for failed prints. Yeah, it's just a lot, and all I would say is find the price that lets you deliver the best product, not the cheapest. That's basically it in a nutshell. And then from there, quality usually is going to outlive anybody who undercuts you, because they're not going to be able to actually build a sustainable business. So eventually they will die off. It's something I have learned myself the hard way. I used to underprice myself on a few things way back in the past in all my other sort of businessy things, and then I realized, hold on, I'm not keeping this, and this in mind. And then with that in mind, it's much easier to go forward with. Okay, so yeah, that's that one. Any other questions? I'm scrolling. Oh, that jumped me to the, okay, so here we go. From Gabe P. Question: I seem to remember having a multi-point connection that kind of snap in and is a little bit bigger than like the current multi-point in Rails, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. Oh, that is not a multi-point. That is not a multi-point at all. That is probably multi-connect. Multi-connect is made by David D. He basically developed multi-point before I was able to put multi-point out. Funny thing is, multi-point had already had... I had multi-point already ideated before the launch of Multiboard. So it was a little bit of a punch to the gut when David D came out with it, and I was just like, hey man, I literally am about to put this out. It would be amazing if you didn't do it. And it was just like, nah, gonna just do it. This is the way. And obviously everybody jumped onto that, and it's brilliant. It's lots of growth has come from it, and it's good fun. So yeah, that's probably a multi-connect, because multi-connect is slightly bigger and multi-point isn't. Multi-point is made to fit within a certain space specifically, a certain thickness specifically, so that it works with everything. Took a lot of design. Question: knowing what we know about the orientation, will you add an arrow to the multiboard, please? Something more obvious than a hidden single line. Long story short, no. Because the only part you need to like visually see the thread orientation is the single-sided border tile. Because all of the other tiles, for instance, this one, it's always the points off to the right and that way, and you know that is the up and down. That will also work with all the borders. You've got to just, the border tiles, by the way, if you haven't seen it, there's on the little triangle that comes out, there's actually a little logo in there that tells you where that tile is in the entirety of the system. It's the missing tile in it. I wonder if I've got one around so that I can point it out. I don't think I do, though. Is it right there? Let me grab my box of many parts. Many parts. No. They're all just single border tiles, which is really annoying. But then again, I was working on a 3D system, so I didn't really need the whole points out. But yes, in the border tiles, they have a little logo on them. That little logo lets you know where the tile is orientated. Wherever the tile is orientated, then you know which way is up. The only one you really need that line concept is with this one. And if you're using this one, well, probably the easiest thing is I might make a super duper simple little print, which is an arrow that you screw in, and wherever that arrow stops lets you know the directionality of it. Adding an arrow to this, I mean, I could technically add a little arrow on the side, but there isn't really anywhere to add anything to it because it will make it weaker there, and I don't want to add any weakness. This is already incredibly thin and weak when it comes to the very, very edges, and then I don't want to add anything to the front or the back because people have different textures and different build plates, and then all of a sudden you shouldn't print on one side, and then multiboard is technically both-sided, so when you're doing freestanding you want both sides to look nice. So yeah, that's unfortunately my answer. Okay, and question: can we get multi-material stacks for the multi-bin plates or a generator that can add them? Yes, I'm pretty sure the is the advanced generator not out for the multi-bin plates? I was pretty sure that was out. If it isn't out, then it was going to be out soon. It's probably because I was waiting for the filament lock hole that's going to be added to them. Yeah, that's probably what's going on here. But I might put it out now anyway and just be like, hey, just a heads up, this doesn't have the filament lock hole because the filament lock hole is going to be coming real soon. So just a big FYI on that one. Oh, actually, that's something that I forgot to mention. I don't have any super new tiles, but all the tiles have been versioned, and now there's a hole down here, which is the filament lock hole. Now, you might be saying, what on earth why is there a filament lock hole there? There's a dual clip that's coming out that's going to let you do a filament lock there. But it's just, I'm figuring out just the absolute best solution for this, and I've already got pretty close. Let me just grab it so that I can show it. Oh, it's on my desk, so, oh, there we go. But ultimately, if I go dual here, the filament lock is this thing that lets you add a filament through there to, well, it's more than just filament through there to have it there. But just be aware that I'm having to just figure out a few other little bits and bobs, and now you can also understand why I haven't put things out just yet, because if that clip is going to change and all of that other fun stuff. So yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, okay. Multi-material stacking, 100% coming. It just getting on top of the massive list of things that we've got. The next one is, can you demonstrate how to use the three pieces, the snap part? Wait, sorry, I just lost that one. It snapped away. The advanced generator does have multi-material stack already. I don't know what's just happened. Since apparently, oh goodness me, what happened to the chat? The chat went weird, and now why? I just lost that question. Goodness me. Question, can you demonstrate? Okay, question, can you demonstrate how to use the 3-piece snap part B remover? I can't get mine to actually slip under the part B, so I can try to remove it. All that happens is the tools slip out. Oh, weird. Sure. Here we go. Nice and close. Oh, yeah, there we go. Nice and close. Down way over here. Bum bum. Bum bum. I will grab this. We will put that in there. There we go. There we go. Let us zoom in. Let's see if that will work for us. There we go. Enhance. I know it's a digital zoom, so I'm sorry. And then let's use this, the flush one, because that's the main thing that everyone's using. So let's put the flush one in. Let me just make sure that I've got the right orientation on this, and of course, because it's black, I can hardly see anything. But clip that in there, so that is nice and flush in there. Perfect. You get this, you squeeze it, you put it down, all the way down. That's it now in place. And now let me just zoom out so you can see my hand. Boom, boom, boom. And now I just go here and I pull. Of course with that wall, and that pulls it out. It's sort of as simple as that. I'm not entirely sure why you wouldn't be able to get it out. Unless you're using a part A and B. If you're using a part A and B, then what you've got to use is this removal tool instead. Because if you're using the snap A and B, that basically leave no hole for you to snap into. Right, that's that one there. Let me put that over here, over here, over here. This one over there. So, okay, removal tool. Question: how close to completion is the multiboard visualizer? What is the range of parts that will be able to be visualized on the digital visualizer planner, and how and will use Blender for the first draft? No, I'm not using Blender from this point onwards. Basically, I'm not making any more generators in Blender. I'm making them all online. As for where is the multiboard simulator, as you imagine, there's already been quite a few changes as of recently, so any development that I had going on there now has to be like retweaked in some degree. What I'm probably going to do for the first like visualizer of it, the 3D visualizer of it, not just the planner, is I'm just going to have it like the planner but in the virtual space. And then once we have the planner but in the virtual space, and first it's just going to be tiles, then we're going to move on to being able to like tweak and control that planning, so you can remove some tiles and add some tiles. Unfortunately, to do all of that, we're also needing some web connections going on, and that's happening, but it all takes time. It's something that's really, really interesting. And then, because I'm trying to customize a multiboard inside of a cabinet to cover the 4 surfaces. I am making an SCAD version of the rail to custom sizing. Can I have the dual clip negative part? The dual clip negative part is, well, technically it's not locked in, so it's just not shared in any way, shape or form, because as you can tell, it just changed. So the dual clip negative part, yeah, we're now going to be doing that and putting that out. But again, massive lifts ahead, trying to get on top of. And then question: with the tiles being vertically symmetrical, does that mean that if we want a textured surface on the outside, we print our board from the bottom right to top left flow? Huh. Let me think that one through. If you want a textured surface, so, well, I mean, yes, you could do that, or you just flip it in your printer. You can flip it in the slicer. So you can flip it in the slicer, print it, and then you do it normally. So yeah, if you're wanting the build plate, you're totally right. You would have to, the left would be on the right, and then that would go that way if you want the build plate surface at you. Right? Oh wow, my head. That's a lot of 3D to do for all these tiles. I'm just trying to think it through. Yes, ultimately yes. For all the parts that aren't symmetrical, you would have to do that. Personally, I would flip it in the slicer. Okay, scrolling without, hopefully it's not going to jump. Question: if you are making a multi-bin plate wall with lots of bins, is it better to print larger bin shells with dividers or individual bin shells for each drawer? This is very much up to you. Personally, I'm of the mind of flexibility and modularity above all. But I completely agree with things. So you can, let me just go over there and pull this up. This is what I call a bin array. So you can just do lots of small ones, right? And that's it. or you could get this one and get a 3x3 of it and divide it up. Now, the fun thing about if you decide to do it divided up is it means that if you ever want to change the drawer or make it bigger or change the layout in any way, you just can. You just pull out dividers and you don't really have to do much more printing. Yes, you need to have dividers. That comes to it. So unless you are 100% solidly set that that is the way it's going to be, it's usually better to print big if you can and then divide it up. Or if you're wanting a really modular small bin system that cannot become bigger, you just print lots of small bins. So a good example is actually this. Oh yeah, here. I've got the bin array here as well. But I've got the mega drawer set up here as well as here. Trust me, I know this pack I promise you it is coming, but things were changing and I didn't want to put out a whole bunch of packs and then throw you all into hot water. These are both the exact same parts. They're just put together differently. And what I would say is make sure you do it this way. Well, this is the way I think everybody should do it. But then again, I guess I'm a little bit biased, which is you have a 0.5 bottom and then the extension. That means that if this were to break, you can just print this and you don't have to do this whole laborsome part again. You don't have to go this crazy with how I've gone here, but you can if you want. And then, yeah, this also lets you do some other really interesting things, which is you don't actually have to do pop-ins like this. You can actually just do a divided bottom bit that is popped in there, and then the top bit is actually a shelf that is deeper, that is like in. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy pack things that are going to be coming in the future, and I really, really encourage everybody to experiment. There are things within the system itself that nobody has touched yet, and it's really pretty cool. I love it when people find this and it shows in the community and it's like boom and everybody does it. So yeah, but I promise I will be covering all of those in the future. It's just I don't want an explosion just yet because we haven't built the infrastructure for everything. So all of you are like the hardcore early bird makers that are dealing with, well, what is a shit show in a nutshell, and I'm just making this as best as I can so then we can all march in lockstep and create something truly unseen. But we'll get there, slowly but surely. Okay, then other question, and it did that jumpy thing. Goodness me. Why is it doing that jumpy thing on this text thing? It's really quite annoying that it does that. There is that question. Question: Will there be a possibility for you to release any official wire shelf brackets? Wire shelf brackets or attachments? Universal adjustable bolt lock nut bracket for pipe. Wire structures. We make multiboard in more fields. I don't know what you're asking there. If you're talking about wire structure, I don't know what a wire shelf is, but I can tell you, as for mounting brackets to other things like wood, pipes, and things like that, 100%. In fact, way over there, I have a collection of like 25 broomsticks because I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff going on there. The idea is I want to create an entire renter-friendly system of freestanding boards. There's so much that I want to do. It just takes time to develop it and standardize it and test it as deep as I do for everything. But yeah, that I don't know what a wire shelf is, but will there be other mounting options? For sure. Question, the top corner of the baskets are great, but they do have a filament lock to hold it better. But could do with a filament lock to hold them back. No, don't worry about that. I completely agree that as these stand, they are a little bit wibbly wobbly. There's an entire thing that's actually going to click on top of this. Not going to give too much away because I know now everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to design it before he does. And I'm just be like, please don't. I really, that's the one reason why I don't tell a lot out there publicly, is because everybody then just tries to get out there before me. But yeah, basically going to be adding like a stabilization ring that's going to bring a whole bunch of other functionalities as well, which is going to be really cool. Okay, question. Well, what would be the strongest way to mount a drawer to the bottom of a desk? Using a multi-board towel, using a multi-board plate. I use multi-points, but they can move back when hit and fall off. What? I used multi-points, but they can move back. If they're still sliding, we do have a locking system to lock things into place. So, but what is the strongest way to hold a drawer into place? They're all just as strong, really. As long as you mount them correctly, it's all off of multi-points, and a solitary multi-point holds around in that directionality before the bin shell itself actually gives out. It's around 2 to 4 kilos per point. Of course, it matters if you're just pulling on one side, it will start to undo on this side and then go along. But yeah, it's a tricky one, and experiment and then make sure you use the correct things that close off that stop it moving. There's 2 ways of stopping it moving. I always forget them. If you're using the multi-point shelf, you use the the multi-point plate, then you use the cornery clippy bits. I'm sorry. It's just, I try, but learning the name of over 4,000 parts is a bit much for my head. But yes, there is a way to stop things from sliding. Okay, next up is question. Is that a black plate you are using to mount? Is that a backplate? A backplate? A backplate. This one. This here is literally just boom. There it is. I'm using just a normal towel snap and multi-points up on there, and that's basically it in a nutshell. Come on. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's good fun. Question, will there ever be an official 90-degree multi-board mount? The third-party one is using... Will there ever be a 90-degree multi-board mount? Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. The part A, 90-degree for a corner. If I'm honest, probably not, because we have the brackets, and I would expect that you put 2 brackets to hold it perfectly in place, and then that corner becomes usable because it has the small thread holes in there, and then you can use things inside of that. Because if you use the other ones that are out there, they're not actually on grid, and if you're not on grid, that means one tile to another tile won't be able to interact to one another, and that's basically what it is. Okay, going down, going down, going down. Question, is there a chance to add a third-party tool to the library? I had issue putting the new part B snaps in third part B with, so people had it. Yes, 100%. Can I catch something? I already know which one you're talking about. It's the one that Blue made, which is, Blue made a brilliant little tool. I've been meaning to put it out. Again, mountain of work in front of me. But yeah, some people are struggling with these new flush snaps because of how flexy they are. So Blue made a little octagon that goes in there and a bigger octagon that you just push in. I will 100% make that. In fact, I already messaged Blue and Blue told me, yeah, go for it. And so, yes, that is something that I want to put out there. Just lists of many lists of things to do. Okay, next one. Hey, sorry if this was being asked before, as I had to step away and I'm only now getting back. Have there been any issues with using PLA Pro filament or higher infill due to flexibility? Any PLA Pro, I haven't found any issues with that. Higher infill, by all means, go for it. I'm wondering where you're talking about flexibility issues. Probably the main one that you're talking about is the actual board itself flexing. I haven't had any issues with the board flexing too much because it's set to a distance that it won't deform it. I don't think, if you're just asking if there's been any issues, no. And higher infill, you're probably, if you're talking about specifically these and you wanted to remove the flex, you might be better just putting up the wall perimeters, because the infill is going to do loads of movements everywhere when you could just be doing entire perimeters that then just straight up touch next to each other. Okay, oh, it just jumped again, so right, I hope I haven't missed. Oh, no, I don't think I've missed. Oh, no, there it is. Is there an official way or steps to follow to add or make parts of multiboard compatible? Also, what is the official spacing between peg holes? So, for those of you that have no idea, I also run another YouTube channel called Keep Making. And on Keep Making, I used to... Oh, God, it's past 7 already. Okay, last few questions and then we're going to call it there. We were delayed by all the technical difficulties at the beginning, I'm sorry. So I do know very well how to teach the 3D space. Primarily in Blender, but I also know FreeCAD, and I'm also now getting refamiliarized with Fusion 360. I used to know it really well. I know Rhino and all of those, but yes, there is going to be entire guides and all of that for making remixing parts. Now, the frank truth is I'm trying to slow down the growth of this amazing community, because if we grow too fast too quick, honestly, Multiboard will get the hug of death, then the project will sort of collapse within itself rather than letting me build a platform, a plinth for you guys. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm currently building that plinth, and if I shared and made it incredibly easy to do the remixing side of things and didn't have that extra little step of complexity of, hey, here are all the component parts and you can build all the parts by using these parts, it means that there is this sort of like one level higher to be able to make the remix parts. Now, as for the official way of remixing, everything is at 25. It's as simple as that. Everything is on grid, which is 25, multiples of 25, be it 25 times 2, which gives us 50, which is this entire grid here, or it's divided the other way, so you've got 12.5, which then takes you into the small thread hole grid. Everything is 25 millimeters. Super duper simple. That's as easy as it gets. So yeah, that's that. And there will be an entire, like, so much on how to do remixing in the future. It's just, I'm waiting to make that plinth, that platform for you guys, and then from there, that's going to be insane. Official way to set multiboard. Question: is there a negative part to create multi-point rail slider? Yeah, slider parts. Negative parts to make multi-point rail slides. Yes, there is. Go to the remix section. Question: thanks for you. Small answer. Wire shelf is pretty common in the UK US market listings. Wire shelf would be a common plural form. Okay, hold on. I need to figure out what this wire shelf is, because it might be pretty interesting. Wire shelf. Wire shelf. Oh, wire. Oh, okay. Wire shelf. In other words, the pole type shelves that. Yes. 100%. I think you can already use the current pole mounts. What I would say is, on the current pole mounts, rather than using the insert that has the spikes to go into wood, you just replace that with rubber, and that should do it. But yes, I want to have another go at those. I can do a much better design on those. It's just many things still happening. Okay. So okay, I'm going to do these last 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, and then we'll go from there. So question: if I create a 4-high bin to bin rail click connector, how can I submit it to you and add to the part library? Right now you only offer up to 3 high. Yes, we do not. So click connectors are not actually the official way to connect bins together. That's the end of it. The official way to click bins together is this. You should only use the click connector right at the very bottom, is the last one, and then all the rest of these are pop-in light multipoints. Because then that can be repeated indefinitely as much as you want, and you won't have a problem with the friction of the bin on the rail click connector, because the rail click connector, depending on people's tolerances in printing, it gets incredibly hard past 1 unit. So I have many printers. On my potato printer, I'm not able to get past that. That's how much friction I get. And the way that I make things in the system is I try to make it as accessible as possible for everyone. And so the actual official way that I want to say that you want to put bins together is this way. The click connector is just to stop things sliding. So if you have it this way, that's just going to slide and slide. The click connector, you basically slide it in, and then you click it, click, and then that stops the slide. So that's the official way of doing things. It's not to use just a click connector. That is obviously, the click connector is like super duper simple terms, but if you're going past and doing bigger bins, I really say go for doing it this way. And you don't actually have to add a pop-in all the way down. You can just add one at the top, maybe one in the middle, and then a click connector, and then feel how that feels. It's like, is it good? Is it not good? Oh, actually, it's not good enough for me. I'm going to go and add some more. So that's the way I would go. And then, yeah, that's that. Question: drawer generator soon. I need some stuff. I need a 4x4 drawer, but five. I see what you say. So being able to make it longer. We'll get there. It's not soon. It's not soon, but I promise we will. Generators for absolutely everything will be coming. What I would honestly say for simple drawers right now is just learn the tiniest bit of Blender. You grab You then go from a top view, you grab the back vertices and pull, and you have it. But yes, we will be making an entire drawer generator of all of that and a whole bunch more. Just, it takes time, and it's as simple as that. Question, just kidding, last question. I just wanted to thank you so much for all of us for building this and putting all the time and effort you're making into Multiboard. Amazing, and thank you. Well, honestly, thank you guys, because without your guys' literal paid support, Multiboard wouldn't be where it is right now and where we're taking it from here. So truly, it's thank you so much to the members that I'm able to let this turn into such a bigger thing. If not, it would take a lot longer and it would be insane. So truly, like, I know you're thanking me, and by all means, thank you. I love doing it, but I really want to thank you all. It's, if you're a member or not a member, you're spreading the word of it, and then that people want to get started. People can see the packs and see the rest, and then now they're starting. I think everybody's starting to realize that this isn't a storage system. This is a building system, and that's ultimately what I'm wanting to build here, is a building system. I came in with a Trojan horse of storage, and then I go, ha! It's actually to build anything you want. So yeah, it's quite something, but really, it means a lot to have your guys' support in any and every way you can, and it's been awesome. So let me just see, there was only one more question, which was, what are you using for a backing on the wall behind you, and how is that attached to the actual wall? This is, so what I've got here is 18 millimeter MDF. Do you need 18? No, you only need 12. I just bought 18 preemptively accidentally, and then I changed things up, and now it's only 12. So this is just MDF that's painted. It's as simple as that. It's painted MDF, and that's what I use. And then as for how this is connected to the wall, this is concrete, so I have a bolt. Oh, I have one up there. I have a bolt down here. Do you see that? Yeah, there's a bolt right here. I've just bolted it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places, this massive sheet, and then I've got another sheet over there to finish off the wall. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, there's 2 more questions. Okay, I will give you 2 more questions. For the locking bolts, for the new locking bolts, the 6.25 setup, are you planning on updating the bolt generator for these? I want to be able to, yes, I 100% want to update the bolt generator, have that. And then the last question is, you mentioned editing in Blender. Where can we get the .blend? You don't need to bring .blend files. You bring in the STL. That is the beautiful thing. You just bring in the STL, move the points, and it's done. Okay, there you go. That's it. That's all I got. I've got to go off now and eat. I've given you 20 minutes extra because I gave you 20 minutes or half an hour of faff at the beginning of this. Thank you so much for giving me all that time of yours. It's truly been amazing to have you here. So yeah, I'm gonna have myself a little sip of water. And yeah, there we have it. That is it. I hope that answered a whole bunch of questions. I'm doing my absolute best to get as far as I can, as deep as I can, and get as much as I can done for you. But there's one of these things of quality before speed is quite important to me, as well as I'm seeing the longer vision of stuff, and sometimes I don't need to put out this stuff because I need to do other things. But yeah. All right, let's see. How do I get access to the button that stops things? Because now I don't have access to anything with the way that I set this up. And let's see. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Okay, brilliant. All right, everyone. Thank you so very much for watching. Keep making. And let's just carry on taking over this space. It's amazing. Again, just thank you. It really means a lot to me. All right, see you guys.